My name is Casey Samson, and I'm from Samson Properties, which is right down the road, and I run a thing called the Casey Samson Team. Today we're going to change the way you think about your living space, how you prepare your home for sale, and things like that. Things are changing, and they're changing pretty rapidly. You look around at the kitchens and bathrooms and the way homes are looking now. Look at magazines, and you'll see the way homes are presented in magazines. So you have to be a lot more thoughtful about what you do with your house. So today we're going to talk about taking your house from a traditional look, which is the way we all live. I mean, I'm going to actually go in your house today, and I'm going to walk around, and I'll stand in your foyer, and I'll point out 20 or 30 things in your house that tag it as a traditional house. And I have to do this 120, 140, 150 times a year, where I go in with the seller and say, we need to take this traditional house and we need to turn it into a transitional house. It's not going to cost a lot of money, but transitional houses are cleaner, more linear, not as much furniture. They pop because they have modern touches. A transitional house is a house that takes the traditional look, mixes it with the modern, just gives it those touches so you can get that modern feel even though it's a traditional house. Now, why is this important? The reason this is important is because when you price your house to sell, the difference between doing it right, selling it for the maximum dollar, and selling it for the minimum dollar could be as much as 20% of the value of your house. So on a $750,000 house, that house could sell anywhere from $675, even $650, all the way up to $825. Now, how we present the house, how the house is updated, how the look and feel of that house has a lot to do with where that price is going to come in. If we make a mistake, it's going to cost us a lot of money. So we have to be very thoughtful about what we do. And that's a term I'm going to be using today. It's called smart money. Now, we walk around and we look at kitchens, and the last thing we want to do is spend $50,000 on a $35,000 kitchen. We don't want to overspend. We want to be thoughtful about the money that we have. So when you're getting ready to sell a house, and let me put it to you this way. You know, if you go to Vegas and you start betting money, you could go to play craps, you could go blackjack, you could do, and it's pretty risky putting your money in. We know they're going to get it. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take before they get it. But what if there was a game, and there is a game called Smart Money, where you could invest $2,500, and if you lose, you're going to get back $5,000, $6,000. But if you win, you're going to get back $25,000, $35,000. We take that bet. All of us would take that bet. So when we're preparing a house, that's what we're dealing with, smart money. You'll hear me use that term. Now, this young lady here in the front row, that's my daughter with the tan thing on. And Kelly and I went into a house that was about a $1.15 million house, but it had not been updated since 1992. They've not done anything. Not a kitchen, not a bathroom, not a faucet, not an electrical feature. And we looked, and so this house could sell for $1 million, even though it should sell for $1.15 million. Because that's what a customary house in that condition that's appropriately updated would sell for. Brilliantly, Kelly took a limited budget. We had about $10,000 to deal with. And we updated the kitchen by painting the cabinets, putting in new hardware. She threw down some rugs from Wayfair at $150 a pop. We changed the chandelier with a cool-looking orb. It didn't cost that much money. We got some new carpet here. We painted the house with her Revere pewter that she loves. And in the first weekend, we sold the house for $1.15 million. So in that case, I will guarantee you, because I sell 120 houses a year, I'll guarantee you that that $10,000 investment made them at least $100,000 on the sale of that house. Now, when that happened, right, that's a pretty good deal. Am I right? That's just a true story. Now, there are also occasions where people can use money in a not smart way. So I went to one listing, and I walked in, and Billy and I are looking around, and we're like, we got to paint this house. I don't know what you've done, but it's like a mustardy color and maroon. So I said, well, the first thing we need to do is we need to paint this house. And he said, what are you talking about? I just painted it. I mean, the paint's just drying. And I went, well, what did you paint it? And he said, they're Redskin colors. So he said that if I get one Redskin fan walks in this house, he's going to buy the house. This is a true story, so help me God. One guy walks in this house, it's sold, it's a Redskin fan, and I want $50,000 premium for this house. And with that, I folded up my briefcase as I do, put it back in my bag, and said, I got to go. Because I can't, that doesn't make any sense. So it is good to do smart money, but we have to be very thoughtful on how we're going to do it or how we're going to spend it. The average amount of money we put into we advise a seller to fix their house up is really less than $2,500 or $3,000. But we've got $150,000 at stake. And I'm telling you, that's a fact from somebody. I can tell you horror stories, I can tell you great stories. So we need to be thoughtful about how we're going to set this house up. Now, every house, and let's say we're talking about a 30-year-old house, they have to have a kitchen has been remodeled. Somewhere along the line, the bathrooms need to be remodeled. Kitchens and bathrooms are number 1 and 2. Have to do it. Or they're going to cut your price down. And today's buyer, they don't want to buy a house and do it themselves. They want to turn the key, move into the house, have everything the way it should be. So as far as kitchens and bathrooms are concerned, that's not what I'm talking about right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk in your house, and I'm going to point out the 30 things in your house that tag you as traditional. And when I say the word traditional, you think of the word dated. Because here's the way a buyer looks at a house these days. Nope, 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 no. Oh, I like that. And what you do to your house makes them stop. Now, we have an open house right now in Vienna that had 395 times people went, oh, look at that. I'll talk about target marketing, how you go find them in a minute. But it's just because that house stopped them in their tracks, made them look at it, went to the website, and went, wow. So hopefully it's a big open house today. So I'm going to walk in your house right now. Now, when I do that, I'm going to close my eyes because I'm envisioning walking in your house. And I'm a wanderer as I talk. So if I get close to this line up here, it behooves the people in the front row to yell out and say, whoa, big fella, because if I fall off this stage, not all the king's horses and all the Innova doctors can put me back together again, and it's not going to look pretty. So if I get too close, let me know. All right, so let's walk in your house. So as I come in, first thing I see is an oriental rug. In the foyer, I've got a desk or a chest right here. I've got plants. All of these are traditional things. I've got a bowl. I've got knickknacks sitting out. There's stuff in the hallway. Sometimes there's even a fern sitting there waiting for me when I get in there. Above me is a brass foyer light that's been sitting there since maybe 15, 20 years. As I look down the hallway, there's 2 brass lamps. And again, I walk into 150 houses a year, so this is basically what I'm looking at. There's brass lamps in the hallway. There's pictures in the hallway. All of these tag this as a dated house. Dated, dated, dated. So we need to remove a lot of this stuff. The walls are painted a light green. They're painted, powder blue. Dated colors. Let's look in the living room. When I look in the living room, I see big, heavy curtains all the time, and shears on the windows, screens on the windows, and all that's doing is blocking the natural sunlight. It's blocking the architectural features of the window. There's no linear look here at all. So those are all traditional looks. You got 7 or 8 pieces of furniture in this living room. It's crowded, including a 5-foot tall, like glass, whatever you call them, bookshelf, and it's got knickknacks in it. So all of these things in this house crowded up in the living room, and the sun is blocked, but the good thing is we have 2 antique lamps that date the house terribly, and they don't give off much light. So remember one thing, dark is the enemy and light is our friend. So I just described a dark living room that everybody's going to look at and go, dated, dated, dated. All right, let's look in the dining room. We have a china cabinet. Nobody's using china cabinets. They're using sideboards, if anything. We have the big curtains, big shears. And the reason they're here is they're coming from Arlington or D.C., and they want that backyard. They're coming out here, and they want that backyard. But they can't see it because it's got too many curtains and drapes and screens that are blocking the backyard. I look in there, and there's a chandelier, and it's gold too, and it has little candles coming up, so that's been here a long time. That dates the house. So I've got china cabinets, lighting, big heavy this. I've got an oriental rug under the table, 8 chairs. All those things are dating this house. Now you may have 5 of those, you may have 7 of those, you may have all 20 of them, 25 of them. So now we're going to walk back in the house, and we've only spent smart money, and we're going to go back in and we're going to see what the buyers are going to see when we're done with it. You're going to walk into the foyer. There's just going to be a cool rug there from Wayfair. It only costs $80, but it looks really cool. And you have a black chandelier sitting over top of your head. All of this is going to be gone. There's going to be no table or cabinets. The fern is gone. By the way, did I mention plants? There's a lot of plants in a house, and that's a traditional look. So a lot of the plants need to go. Maybe not all of them, but the big ones, the fake ones, the flowers, the silk flowers, all have to go. They all date your house. So now we're coming back in. We got a Wayfair rug here. This is gone. We got some beautiful Revere paint. You can see the chair rail molding. The crown molding looks great. I look down the hallway, and now I see recessed lights. I don't see that oriental rug that was going down that hallway. I just see recessed lights. They're banging off the floor. It looks great. It shows off your hardwood floors. There's no pictures on the walls. That looks great. So it's a clean look. I look in the living room. The curtains are gone. They were blocking all the light. Once the curtains are gone, once the shears are gone, once we take the screens out, now there's plenty of natural light coming into this house, coming into the living room. And if we have something in the front of the house that really is an eyesore, then we'll just put some nice linear curtains that only cost $150 or $200. These people, Kelly and Shayna, and when they buy stuff, they don't spend more than $200. They're not spending big money. They're taking accent pieces and putting it in to make that house look modern. All right, so let's go back in that living room. Now we've only got 4 pieces. We got a couch, we have 2 chairs, we have a table. They're facing each other, and they're sitting on a modern rug. And it's a light room. All those lamps are gone. All the extra furniture is gone. The knick-knack thing over here is gone. And in their place is just one big mirror that gives depth to this living room. Now we don't have two-tone paint anymore. We don't have any wallpaper. Now it's mindful gray on top of mindful gray. It's Dorian gray on top of Dorian gray. So now think of the way that looks now. It looks clean, it looks fresh, it looks light, it looks modern, it looks hip, and we really didn't spend that much money. All we did was take off the curtains and the drapes. We rearranged the furniture. We got a $150 rug. We got a $200 mirror, and that's it. And now we've gone from a traditional home that makes buyers go like this, dated, 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 and now it looks wonderful. It looks great. Now, the listings we have, how well does this work? 65% of the houses we list, and we list a ton of them, 65% sell in the first weekend. Last week, 4 houses listed, 4 houses sold. This week, 3 houses listed, already have contracts on 2 of them. So if you prepare your house and you target your market right, then this is what they're looking for, okay? So when you go into, if I wander into let me just wander into the family room for just 1 second. I'm not going to do a lot to your family room, but I am going to attack the fireplace. A lot of people traditionally with their fireplace, it's got stuff all over the place. You got stuff on the mantle, you got stuff over here, you have the little pokers right there, you got a basket with some magazines, you got all sorts of stuff around here. All I want to see is the fireplace. Get rid of everything. Clear off the mantelpiece, clear off the side, clear off the front. Get rid of that big screen you have in front of it. Just get rid of it. Go get 3 logs, 3, what do you call them, river birch? 3 river birch logs, put those on the grate and call it a day. And hopefully you've got a light up there that's banging on that fireplace. So for no cost there, all we're doing is removing most of the stuff. And as far as the big furniture is concerned, you know, we have a deal with Interstate or All-Star Movers where they'll come and you just tag big pieces of furniture and get it out. Just move it out. They'll store it for $500 for 3 months, and that stuff's out of our hair. Now, that's expensive, you know, a little expensive to do that, but it's worth it. Again, smart money. If I could bet $2,500 and get back $25,000, we all make that bet. So what I've just described, other than the paint, what I've just described did not cost $2,000. And we just took a home that had 30 points of dated. And even if you're not selling your house, even if you're just living in your house, I mean, you're in here for a reason. You're trying to spruce your house up, make it look better, make it look cooler. Stop, just get the traditional stuff out. Look at the magazines. Look at how clean all they are. Look at the lines. Get rid of the big drapes. Let some light in. Get rid of a lot of the furniture. Get rid of the plants. So start thinning your house out. Okay? So now we have a house that is totally different, more livable, and now when we go into bringing in the cameraman and putting up these beautiful websites for all these houses, now the home looks great. Now there are homes that need a lot more work. There are homes that are really in desperate need of help. And they are, one of my guys I work with in the back is a guy named Sam. So we would go into a house, and the house had an offer, a standing offer, for $575,000 on Scarab over in Vienna. $575,000. We brought in Sam. Sam did all the kitchens, knocked down walls. We did the floor. We did everything. I think it's probably $100,000 is what you put into it. The sellers didn't pay any money because it was an estate. And Sam goes, look, I'll do all this work. Pay me at settlement. We sold the house for $776,000. So it was $575 is what the heirs were going to get. Put in $100, wait for settlement to pay it, get back $775,000. So that seller made $100,000 and never put up a nickel. So sometimes they need a total rehab. We really need to do some gutting, bathrooms, kitchens. We need to do the whole thing. That is an extreme case. That is 2, 3, 4 times a year. 90% of the time we walk in and it's just a matter of removing and fixing things up and setting it up. Does that sound like I mentioned a lot of points in most of your houses that have that little dated feel? And this is not just for houses that were built in 19,085. You could buy a house in 2015 and you're putting all the stuff in there. You're getting the big drapes, you're getting the plants, you're getting all that stuff, you're crowding it up, and you've lost that feel. Even though you have a new house, you still lost that feel. So whether it's a 2015 house or a 1985 house, that's just the way it is. Okay? So if you're here thinking about should I or shouldn't I, well, if you got a 30-year-old house and you haven't updated your kitchen yet, yes, you have to do that. If you haven't updated your master bedroom, bathroom, most important, frameless glass. If you're thinking about investing in frameless glass, you make your money back on that. That is smart money. So there are some things to your house you can do that does make smart money. Okay? But more importantly, if you are going to sell, we need to come into the house and look at it and not spend anything more than we have to. But we have to spend enough to put you in a condition where you're going to get the higher price. Those 65% of the houses that sell in the first weekend, most have multiple contracts. And when you have multiple contracts, you have people fighting. They bid the house up. It's crazy. And when you sell, you're going to have to go through a thing called a home inspection. And a home inspector is going to find things wrong with your house. And if I have 4 buyers standing right over here waiting to hear, then when I negotiate this inspection release on buyer number 1, perfect example. His brother, this is a true story. His brother, I sold his brother's house. He wouldn't do it. He goes, I'm not selling it. I'm out of it. You sell it. Hunt vows. Swear to God. Sold it, had 4 buyers for the house. The home inspection came back, right? Came back with 115 items on it to fix. 115 items. I'm like, I said, well, what do you want us to fix? He said, well, I want you to fix them all. You want us to fix 115 items. Right. Now, our normal is 40, 50, 60. And I have kept the home inspection because I don't want anybody to say you're lying, because I'm telling you that happened. So I went back and I said, I tell you what we'll do. We're going to fix 3 items because they're safety hazards, they're electrical. If we don't fix them, I can't sell the house anyways. So I'm going to fix 3 items, but I got 4 buyers standing behind you. If that's not good enough for you, then I move to buyer number 2. And he says, so you'll fix those 3, right? It's like, yeah. He goes, I'll take it. We'll take it. We settled for 3 items out of 115 items. That is the power, and what started all that was getting the house in that condition, getting the price right, getting multiple buyers, getting it done early, and having the power to say, I'll fix 3 items. Because if we didn't do it right, and we only had 1 buyer after 60 days, guess how many items we're going to have to fix? 115 items. Now, we all only have a limited amount, all of us, everyone in this room, everyone in this whole convention, we all have a limited amount of 3 things: time, energy, and money. And let me tell you something. You don't want to be sapped. Your energy and money and time, you will get destroyed if you do real estate wrong. If you do it right, things happen right and everything moves smoothly. But if you do it wrong, it's not good. So I run a thing called a Casey Samson Team. I'm a listing agent. I do a lot of listings. Kelly does listings with me, but she's working with buyers. If you're going to buy something, we can set that up. But if you're thinking about selling your house in the next 2 years or 3 years, before you pick up a hammer, before you paint anything redskin colors, before you do any of that stuff, give us a call. We'll come out. We'll set a plan of what the to-do list really should be. And most of it is removal of stuff and some strategic paint. Now, you'll read a lot of opinions from interior designers or stagers or things like this about, well, everybody's doing gray. I want to do tan. And they'll say, well, do Manchester tan and do bleaker beige. No, that's what we did in the early 2000s. Don't do that. We sell them. We know what the buyers want. We're the ones that have to stand up and sell it. An appraiser will put a price on a house. He doesn't have to sell it. A designer could say, do this to your house, but they don't have to sell it. We literally have to sell it every day. So we can help you with what really colors should be in, what is hot now in that area. And I always think if you've ever seen this movie, Trading Places, with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, and he goes, this watch is a Rochefoucauld watch. It reads time up to 7 fathoms, and it's worth $8,000 in Stad. And he goes, in Philadelphia, it's worth $50, you know? In Oakton, Virginia, this is what it's worth, and this is what you do. In Vienna, Virginia, this is what we do. In Oak Hill, this is what we do. This is appropriate for our neighborhood. I don't care what they're doing in Stad. I don't care that gold may be making a comeback, so let's leave it in here. Today, this is what gets us our biggest bang for the buck. So we have a booth at 822 over there. I'm easy to find. I'm like a rash on Google. If you Google Casey Samson, the first 4 pages, right? First 4 pages, you can't get rid of me. I'm all over the dang place. So all you have to do is Google Casey Samson or go to CaseySamson.com. Give us a call. We'll go in 2 or 3 years before sales. We met in last summer, right? And now it's time, and now we're making the comeback, and now we're going to have our to-do list, and we're on the final runway to launching that house. And when we launch it, we can't miss. We got to make sure that everything is exactly the way it should be. Last year was very difficult. Instead of getting 5 contracts, a lot of times we got 1 contract. Instead of 30 people walking through a house, you got 10 people walking through a house. 2018 was a very tough year for a lot of people. Vienna new homes were down 40%. You couldn't miss last year. That's why we took so much emphasis on the pillar, one of the 3 pillars. One is pricing, the other is condition, and the other is marketing. But we focused a lot on condition this year, and this is basically what helped us through sell a house, whether it's $1 million or $1.8 million or $750,000. Okay? Do we have any questions? Yes. I'm sorry? Well, if you want privacy, remember, when you're getting a house ready for sale, we're not thinking that much about privacy. I'm thinking much about, you go to a stage house, there's not even a TV in there. So it's not set up for living, it's set up for what we want them to see. Now, if you have a privacy issue in there, then you get those linear drapes that come down. Again, I always defer to Kelly. It's like, get her some linear drapes that are of the proper color. That's where you can put some ping in it, make sure they're modern looking, and you can draw those over. When we're showing, they go all the way out. Okay? All the way out. Does that make sense? That answer your question? Yes, ma'am. Okay, colors. The question is, what colors do we recommend? It is in the gray family. Now, if you have we're not going to paint your whole house, but we need to make sure that everything is transitional, right? So if you have a beige kitchen, then Kelly's going to put Revere pewter, which is called a grayish. Part gray, part beige. There are some grays that have blues in it that tie in with a blue living or a blue dining room. There are certain kinds. My favorites, Mindful Gray, Dorian Gray, Repost Gray, Revere pewter, but it's in that family. Okay, some are Benjamin Moore, some are Sherwin-Williams. Sherwin-Williams, right? Yeah.
What about some of these blinds that fit in, they can kind of pull up and they separate, and kind of see through them a little bit.
Right.
Pull down, they completely cover.
Right. So what he's asking is the blinds that come down, like the shutters almost, the what do you call it? Plantation shutters. Plantation shutters are very good. Those shutters come up down, fine, no problem. New stuff, don't worry about them. What I'm trying to get rid of is, and it's hard because I walk in and she spent $5,000 on these window treatments, or an interior designer got her to spend $10,000 on the window treatments, and here comes this guy in saying, you got to take those down. But it's just a traditional look. So those are clean, those are easy, those are newer.
We're talking about the fabric ones.
Fabric ones, just bring them all the way up. They're easy. Just bring them all the way up. If you can bring them all the way up and hide them, that's fine. But as long as it looks newer and fresher, what I'm trying to get away with is the dangling drapes. The dangling drapes are killing us. And if it's covering our windows, if it's killing us from, I'm trying to get light into the house. We need light in the home. Okay? Did you guys have another question? That was good? Okay? Now, yep, yes, sir.
Fairly light kitchen with natural wood finished cabinets. If you like the color, that versus painted.
Yeah, no, if you've got light colored cabinets, the question was, if I have light colored cabinets in a white kitchen, do I paint the cabinets white? No, you don't. We have options when we look in the kitchen. Sometimes we just do new hardware, and that pops it, okay? Sometimes we'd have to go to painting the cabinets. Sometimes we'd have to go to replacing the cabinet, refacing the cabinets, and then the nuclear option is just replacing the whole kitchen. So in most cases, I'm trying to get by with as little money as we possibly can. Okay, if we have to go to the nuclear option, there's no guarantee that smart money is going to come back to us. So I'm trying to use smart money to get us our price and to still attract buyers. If every buyer that walks in your kitchen says, I'm going to have to redo this kitchen, we're going to have to redo that kitchen, or at least make it look pop so they don't have to do that. We're trying to drive the biggest buyer pool possible in your house, and as the list gets bigger for things that you need to do to your house, the buyer pool gets smaller. So for some things we know everybody's going to have on their list, we're going to do it for you. We're going to give you the advice. Now, let's talk contractors, okay? Realtors are great sources for contractors because a contractor out here or anywhere that you call your house may be a one and done. You're a client, you're going to do it one time and you're done. The difference, let me give you one example. The difference if you want to get windows in your house between estimates could go anywhere from $8,000 to $29,000. Get 3 estimates. We're not putting $29,000 worth of windows in a house. I'm not spending $800 for a window. So you need to be thoughtful about how much you spend on the improvements you do to your house. It's not going to give you the return on your investment, okay? We've got to be able to be thoughtful about some of these contractors. One contractor comes in and will reface cabinets for $29,000. Another one will replace the whole kitchen for $25,000. Get 3 estimates. If you're going to look for a realtor, call me in, call 2 other realtors in. It's a big decision you have to make when you've got to do something. Anytime you spend more than $10,000, you need 3 estimates, period, end of sentence. Got to do it. I have no problem. You're bringing in a couple other realtors, bring them in. If I can't, if what we do isn't better than them, then use them. But do that with every contractor you have. If you need the name of a good contractor, our contractors that work with us, they basically make a living doing stuff for us. So when we recommend them, it's the best price and we can trust them. And I wouldn't recommend anybody unless they knew what they were doing. But that's for our clients. We don't recommend that for, if that's just for people, sellers that are using us, then we'll give them our clients, our client list. Because I don't want my painter painting somebody else's house so he can't paint my client's house. So he's top secret. Some people are just top secret names and numbers. So does anyone have any other questions? Any other issues? If you have a decision that you're trying to make on your house, feel free to send me an email at casey@caseysamson.com. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about it. If you're selling within the next 2 years, I need to come over and set the plan now over what you're going to do to improve this house to get it ready. Does that make sense? Yes. Yeah. No. A lot of people say remove all your family photos. I totally disagree with that. But thanks for bringing that up. In hallways, you want to keep your hallways clear. The last thing we want people to feel like is they're walking through hallways like this. Clear your hallways out. No furniture, no pictures, no knickknacks, no anything. Now, as far as personalizing, what you're talking about is people kind of feel creepy if they're walking around a house that's for sale. Like when they walk in a bathroom, if they see your toothbrush and all that stuff, they're going to get creeped out. So we want to remove our personal items that look like somebody's living here. Put them in a basket, hide them, during showing hours, and then pull them back out. If we do it right, our showing hours are only 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday's contracts, and we're out of here. Okay? So we don't want them to feel like they're looking into somebody's lingerie closet all the time. So we don't want to creep them out. But bathrooms, usually where that happens. All the soap, get that out of there. Clean it up, get it out, put it in a basket, and then in the evening you can bring it out and use it. Okay? Anybody else? Are we good? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
What finish do you recommend?
Okay. Good question. She asked, if we're going to update a plumbing fixture, what would we recommend? We have to make sure we see what everything else is. Because again, in a transitional home, we're not going to come in and go, hey, let's go matte black on that when you see a lot of brushed nickel. And if you have a lot of gold, how are we going to make everything blend together? So what you could do if you do it wrong is you could make something look great, right? And then what happens to the rest of the house? It looks dated. It looks really bad. So if we go overboard with this incredible kitchen, but the bathrooms and the rest of the house aren't up to par, immediately you're going to go, just what my wife says all the time. Now you know what we need to do? Well, now that looks good. Now you know what we need to do? But it does give you that feeling like, that's so nice, that it just doesn't fit. So my answer is, do we need to update our plumbing fixtures? Absolutely. I defer you to, and whenever I come into a house, you see, I'll come in as the old guy, and then you always see a 30-something come in, because they're your buyer. And they give us those tips. Brushed nickel. Brushed nickel. Brushed nickel is a 9 out of 10. You can't miss. Brushed nickel. Yes?
So in our place, we have all of these wire closets that have the little hangers with the things on it. Is it worth to go in and put some hardwood and place it out with a wooden dowel?
No. We're not. The question is, if I have a closet that has a wire this and a wire that, and it's just not a real updated closet, are we going to do anything in there? Nah. Not really. But I'll tell you what, my thought was I'm going to the Container Store because I saw somebody do this in one of the houses where they put the strips in and then they built a cool closet just from the damn Container Store. So I'm going to go in and rip my stuff out because I thought that looked really cool. So I would look at some of the solutions at that Container Store, because those are pretty cool.
If I need new carpeting,
Yeah.
should I put it in or give the buyer a credit?
No. The question is, if we need new carpeting, do we give the buyer a credit or do we do it ourselves? Always, we're going to do that ourselves, because buyers, and if you leave with nothing other than this advice, buyers have no vision. Nope. They're not looking at space, feature, function. They're getting turned off and keep going. So part of the money that we spent on that $10,000, we did put the new carpet in the family room. It was popping. It looked awesome. It was a textured kind of Berber in there, and it just looked phenomenal. So if it's carpet, we're going to do that. Yes.
Hardwood floors, do you redo them or just leave them?
Hardwood floors. Good question. Man, well, let me tell you something. Hardwood floors, do we redo them now or do we wait? Let me tell you something. That's one of the few things I'll give a credit for to a buyer. And I'll say, I tell you what, I know the carpet, I know they need reflooring, but for us to get all this furniture out and all that dust and all the havoc and headache of redoing these floors, and we may pick the wrong color. So I'll give you $3,000 to restain these floors when we're done. So don't touch those floors. Yes.
I've got a master bathroom that has all gold fixtures.
Got to go, man. If it's gold, it's got to go. If it's gold, it's got to go. If your handles, if you've updated your kitchens and bathrooms and everything, and you walk out in your hallway and all your doorknobs are brass, got to go. Brushed nickel. Handles. Brushed nickel. Yes, ma'am. Do buyers demand the open floor plan? It doesn't matter, because I'm not knocking down any walls. Unless Sam's in there redoing the whole house, I'm not touching that. And let me tell you something. Here's another thing. Do not, if you're going to spend money in your house, do it on cosmetic stuff. You get your money back. If you start spending $100,000 on a house that would normally sell for $750, you're not selling for $850. You're selling for $800. So you could spend $100,000 updating this house, but you've overbuilt the neighborhood and you'll never get it back. So be careful about taking down walls and doing a lot of that stuff. Okay? If a house is a dumpster fire, if it's really a problem, then we may make those suggestions. And I would bring in a professional and do that. Yes, ma'am. I didn't mean to say dumpster fire. When I say that, I mean old, really old, needs a lot of work. That's, I guess, what I'm talking about. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Theater room? Enjoy the theater room. Have fun with it, man. Enjoy it. Love it. You ain't getting that money back. Oh, by the way, we got a theater. Could we talk? So when I'm, so it's space, feature, and function. How much square footage do we have? Well, when you start putting a lot of money in that, you never really get it back, because you use it early, but a lot of people are not buying that. They're just not buying it. That's a personal thing, very personal thing. Yes, sir. Yeah. For your basement, if it's finished, recarpet it, repaint it, make sure it's light, clean out those windows so you get as much light down there as you can. If you don't have recessed lighting, get some recessed lighting. But I will give you some advice. This vinyl tile that they have right now for basements is awesome. I would really think hard about looking into some of this vinyl tile they have out. The one thing that's cool about this event is the materials they're using for kitchens and bathrooms and flooring is head and shoulders better than they had 5 years ago. So you got some really nice materials. Yes. Oh, yeah. So here's what I would do. I would go with that cool-looking tile, and you can talk to her later. Cool-looking tile, and then throw one of those really nice $150 Wayfair rugs that have geometric designs. It looks hip. It looks great. Yeah. Yes, sir. No, I wouldn't waste my time. Wood's fine. Wood's fine. Oh, do you switch out wood railing to wrought iron railing? That kind of window dressing, I'm more of the functional stuff. So I only do it if it's a problem. If I look at something and go, you know, if it's going to make a buyer go, I'm going to fix that. But wood railing is traditional. Yeah, it's traditional. But all of these questions, again, you could shoot to me anytime. I think we're out of time here. I don't know what time it is. Huh? 2. Is it 2 o'clock? Quarter till. I got a whole lifetime. You guys can all go and have a Coke or whatever, but if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to help. Yeah, go ahead.
Carpeted stairs, should you hardwood them?
Carpeted stairs, should you hardwood them? I'm not going to go out of my way to do it. If there's hardwood in there, I'm going to pull the carpet, I'm going to put a runner up there, but I'm not going to go out of my way to put money back into that house. Because here's the thing, a conventional house is going to sell for $700,000 in that neighborhood, you know, and we're going to make it look cool, so it's going to get that top number, but I don't need to put in that kind of stuff. I'm not a money spender. I'll be honest with you, I'm really not. I mean, I'm just, if it's old, I got to fix it. But that's only money I'm going to spend, okay? And I think, you know, when you go home tonight, whether you're going to sell your house or not sell your house, go home and look around and look at all the fixtures. Get rid of the plants. Get things more linear. Thin it out. Knickknacks are gone. Oriental rugs, replace them with these cool-looking rugs that you can get at Mayfair or Wayfair. Get those big curtains off your windows and watch how it lights up your living room. And I know you spend a lot of money on them, but, you know. Yes? Metal versus asphalt roof. You ever been in a metal roof when it's raining? Yeah, I'm into asphalt. I'm good. So I wouldn't go out of my way. And then the other question is this. My roof is a little bit old. What am I going to do? I'm going to inspect it, and I'm going to have an inspector say it's in great shape. I'm not going to replace it or anything. That inspector says this is fine. If you want to fight about it, we'll fight about it. But I'm going to have it inspected. If it's old, I'm going to inspect it. If the inspector says it's got to go, it'll go. But I would leave the asphalt roofs on there. And don't get too crazy with it. Remember, think of it this way. What would 9 out of 10 people say? So when I go into a kitchen store and you're asking them, well, I'm going to put countertops on, what do 9 out of 10 people do? 9 out of 10 people are going to use quartz, and they use light quartz. What do 9 out of 10 people use for their cabinets? Shaker cabinets, white. What kind of handles? Either black matte or brushed nickel. So what do 9 out of 10 people do? If you're getting close to selling. If you're not thinking about selling, don't worry about it. You can do whatever you want. You can paint your house redskin colors if you want. But when it comes down to sell, we're painting that another color. We're not going to use that color. Any other questions? Anybody else? Yes, sir. Yes? He says I got cracks in my driveway. Yes? I'm not fixing it because I'm not going to get that money back. It might cost me $5,000 to do that, but I may have a stampede on that house and nobody's going to say a thing. So one of the things home sellers will say is, should I get a home inspection before we sell? And the answer is no. If it sticks out, I'm going to find it, okay? But a lot of times we'll have 5 people competing for a house, and some will have no home inspection. They want that house. And I say, well, best way to get that house is highest price, no home inspection. So we may get a home inspection, fix 40 items, and then have a contract come in that doesn't even have a home inspection. So we just wasted our money. So we don't want to waste our money. We don't want to find something, fix it when they might not have ever found it. Okay? Remember, that one contract I negotiated, 115 items on it, and I negotiated for 3. So if we fixed 112 of them, we wasted our money. Yes, sir.
I got a 30-year-old window.
Gotta go. Gotta go.
5,000 a window or 10,000 a window.
Casey at CaseySamson.com. I'm gonna save you about $15,000 bucks. I'll give you the window person that we use. Yes, sir. I'm sorry?
The
Yeah, the backyard, it's fine. He's talking about the backyard. What do we do for the backyard? You know, we do want to, when they're walking up to your house, that walkway should be power washed. There should be no dry rot wood around that door. It should be fixed. It should be painted. There should be no cobwebs, no leaves, no nothing. When you look up, that front should have fresh mulch on it. I don't care if it's February. It should have fresh mulch on that, okay? It should be cut and clean, and dead things should be taken out. If you got a trampoline in your backyard, if we got time, get rid of it. If you've got big clutter in your backyard, get rid of it. Remember, your buyer is coming from 30 minutes to 45 minutes to the east, and you know where that is? Arlington, Crystal City, and Washington, D.C. Now, they don't have a lot of big backyards back there. They're there for that backyard, right? They're there for the yards. So, and the reason I say that our buyer pool is 30 to 45 minutes to our east is because the Census Bureau says that the average person commutes 30 minutes to work, right? If I work in Arlington, I'm going to get a condo. If I come to Vienna, I'm going to get a 1960s Rambler. If I go out to Ashburn, I'm going to have a 3,000 square foot house built in 2005. So it depends on how far you're willing to commute to how big of a house you can get. So when we target our buyers for your house, I could tell you not only who your buyer is, a lot of times what kind of job they have, where they work, you know, what area they work in. We know what their income level is. So we use what's called geofencing to market houses. And that says it's going to take a person that has a family income of $150,000 to qualify for this house. So if you go 30 minutes away, you know, 45 minutes away, income stream, they have 2 kids, we know they're here for the schools, so we can really describe who the buyers are. And then we use geofencing on Facebook, Google Ads, Instagram, and Twitter, and we make these beautiful ads for the house, beautiful websites, and we take that ad and we go boom. You know how you buy something online, all of a sudden that ad is following you around all over the place? That's us. You go on Google, you're looking for a house in Vienna at $1.4 million, and you go on the Wall Street Journal, you're going to see our $1.4 million house in Vienna. We're going to follow you around. So, all right. Any other questions? Hey, you know what? I really appreciate you guys coming out on a tough day on a Sunday, giving us so much of your time. Thank you. Thank you very much. So my name is Casey Samson. I'm at booth 822. If you need to reach me, it's Casey@CaseySamson.com. Thank you, guys.